So I watched a lot of the Cubs series.
Of course you did. You're
and
from
the Mets.
Chicago.
Yeah, and I watched more than anything to see the crowd. I wanted to see how this crowd would react because Chicago was turned upside down. Everybody thought they were going to the World Series for the first time since 1945. They had a shot at winning the whole thing since 1908. So I wanted to see how the people in the crowd were reacting to every pitch, every inning, every win, every loss, although there weren't any wins. And if there's one thing I didn't expect here, Woody, I didn't expect the Mets to sweep the Cubs. Not as hot as the Cubs were coming in. I love the Mets pitching. Love the Mets young pitching. But I didn't think they were experienced enough to pull off a sweep. But they did. Are you surprised the Cubs were swept?
Sure, I think with Arrieta. And you've got Lester, John Lester. John Lester's been a playoff pitcher most of his career. Arrieta has had an incredible year. Cy Young worthy. If you didn't have a couple other pitchers with the Dodgers that were so hot, so long, all season, I wouldn't have suspected this. It's been so long. This club has been relaxed and been improving during the course of the season. But the Mets, then again, at July 2nd, they were 52-50. So they had a great run their last one-third of the season. I would have thought the Cubs crowd would have lifted the Cubs. And I didn't think the crowd turned on them.
No, not at all. I think they were kind of happy to be there. The crowd just seemed very happy. It was a much better look. They're in the fourth year of what Theo Epstein called a 5-year plan. He didn't think they'd be competitive till next year. So this was kind of unexpected, and it was pretty pleasant for Cubs fans.
Sure, but we had the GOAT thing, the GOAT jinx. We had the Bartman thing. Yeah. We had the 112 years or whatever it's been since the last World Series. You had Wrigley Field's changes. You had the Joe Madden kind of approach. And so I think it was a letdown for everybody, even though it was a year or two in advance. And you had the Back to the Future aspect of it that the Cubs were supposed to win this year.
Great storylines here. I also thought the Mets would come in, and I'm not a big fan of the Mets lineup, but who knew Daniel Murphy would turn into Reggie Jackson?
I still don't quite get why they have no interest in bringing Daniel Murphy back next year.
Because he hit 14 home runs in the regular season and was okay defensively, and now he's going to want a lot of jack and a lot of years after this postseason run, and they might, they have money problems, the Mets. They don't operate the way a New York team should operate because the owners, the Wilpons, invested some bad money with Bernie Madoff. So they're working, I won't say on a shoestring, but they're not working with the budget that a New York team should be working with. So Daniel Murphy might be, although I don't know how they could turn him down now, but Daniel Murphy might have to be let go.
Maybe you'll remember this. The A's catcher that year, he was kind of a backup catcher, right-handed hitter.
Gene Tennis?
Yeah. Remember that postseason run he had?
Yeah.
How do you get rid of a guy after he's been Freeze with St. Louis, the third baseman that was MVP in the National League Championship Series? Yeah. There's not much loyalty in sports anymore, but if a guy like Murphy has the kind of run he does in the playoffs, you can't just throw him out in the street. You find somebody else to get rid of, or you go borrow some money. I just don't.
They got to make it work. They've got to make it work with Murphy.
The only thing I would say is, even with the Mets in the World Series, either if it's the Kansas City Royals or the Toronto Blue Jays, I don't have a lot of thrills left in me for it.
It's not appointment viewing for you?
It's just not what I would like to see. I mean, I tend to think of a World Series being the Dodgers and the Mets.
Yeah.
I would like to see the Cardinals and I don't know, the Angels or the Rangers. It just doesn't have the panache.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the Broadway thrill.
Even with those great young pitchers. See, I love watching pitching.
Yeah, well.
So I could sit in front of the TV and watch the Mets.
I like marquee value. When I go to Broadway shows in New York, I want to see a name. I don't want to see a bunch of people.
Come on, they've got a pitcher nicknamed Thor. How can you not watch Thor on the mound?
I don't know why. I've been waiting for all you guys. And what, did Madison disappear because of her coughing fit? Is that what was going on? Yeah. Oh, there you are. Can't see you. Stand up. Oh, that's where you are standing. Forgive me. No, but I thought one of you guys would get it for the bubble blast. I've been waiting, and I finally have given up. The Grominator. I mean, not once.
Grominator?
Not once did anybody think of it?